I love that intro. That is a catchy tune, isn't it? I'd like to welcome all my Mafians and my loyal listeners, as well as I'd like to say hi to my producer AJ, who's in the other room in the sound booth and still can't figure out how to speak on air yet, but I hear him in my ear, and when it's appropriate, sometimes inappropriate, he tries to help out. But I must say, AJ, we have, I noticed you tweaked the intro just a little bit. It's not as bassy as it was a few days ago. So thank you for that. Thank you for that. I'm not really a high-tech guy, AJ, but as you know, I consider myself more medium tech. You know,
computers now have primary
but
control
I will
of critical
say,
vehicle functions.
this is our second episode, the beginning of our second episode of the new podcast, and this is the third microphone sitting in front of me. I've had 3 different microphones, AJ, and I'm told there's going to be a 4th one for the next episode, so something definitely is not right with the microphone business, and I know a little bit enough. I know enough to get myself in trouble when it comes to tech, but I will say, you know, and more not as an advertisement, not as a negative, but I've shared a little bit on our Instagram account of some of the tech issues we've been having, but just a little bit more details I'll give you folks, my Mafians who are interested. The first microphone we used was something called the Blue Yeti. Very solid made microphone. We had it set up. It was, I mean, you could hear the moon with that microphone. I came in, I filmed the first segment, I think our first intro actually, and then the second segment we tried to do, I think it might have been the Twitter feed before the Twitter feed, I'm not really certain, but it just wouldn't work. We tried to, my headset wasn't getting the feed and wasn't recording, and it was a shame. The mic volume button, and it was something I think to do with the button itself broke inside. So we send that away, and of course we all are under quarantine, so it's very hard to get this equipment, and it takes a lot longer than the old. One day I really do start to appreciate Amazon after the old Amazon, where you get something and it'd be at my door before I finished ordering it. But the second microphone, so we were offline a little while. We didn't have backups. Now we have some backups, but we ordered, it was a Blue Yeti X. And these are, for your understandings, these are USB microphones. So they plug into a USB into a port, and then AJ does all the mixing and stuff later on. But so we tried this Blue Yeti X, and I liked it. It had these lights on the front, and it was, if I talked too loud or too low, it had these lights, which took care of all of that fun stuff. And then, so I don't want to get too techie, but then I come in to record and film, because we were doing videos as well for YouTube, but I came in to do the audio. So we kind of had to mix up the editing a little bit today, but we do have a great episode ahead of you with the Tiger King coming up. I go over a little bit about that, so spoiler alert. But so the Phil interview, we needed 2 interview microphones, right? So the Phil interview, the Blue Yeti X, the port on the bottom wouldn't hold the plug, the USB plug. So it was a shame. Very nice microphone, again, solid, well made. And then AJ said, well, we need another microphone, but we're not going to get another Blue Yeti style because we can't go 3 in a row with them. So we ended up going with a Samsung microphone, which I'm using now. But the Samsung microphone, same thing. The port on the bottom, it's a different type of plug. It's very loose and wiggly. It's not very well made microphone. Sounds well, picks up a lot of noise. But see, there you go. I just hit the desk and it made a loud noise. But we'll probably be switching over to something else. From what I understand, Samsung is another couple of microphones that we're going to be using. So either way, that's what we're going to do. Like I said, we have a great show scheduled for today. We have I received in the mail today my first Too Clever Mafia t-shirt with logo and everything. But in case those of you who did not notice, the season 0, which we've titled it, the older skits that we did for just a few minutes, those episodes, my cover art, if you will, AJ calls it. Yeah, I know, AJ. Yeah, I know. So the cover art had me smoking a pipe, right? And of course, it was a water pipe. We all know this. But the powers that be say, well, smoking's kind of out. So, and even though you weren't smoking tobacco, you should update your image. And I did notice, I said, well, I've lost a few pounds as well, so let's update the cover art to reflect my new leaner style, and we'll get rid of the pipe. I don't need it. But so you'll notice on the season 1, we updated the cover art, and it no longer has me smoking a pipe. So that's kind of an Easter egg, if you will. But I did receive some of the merch today from Teespring, and it has me with the pipe. That's from season 0, and then season 1 merch will not have me with the pipe. So kind of a classic, I guess you can say. The merch from season 0 is going to be vintage already. It's a collector's item because they won't be making it. I don't know if they're even producing it anymore, actually. It may be on the site, I don't know. But you can head over to Teespring and search for Too Clever Mafia if you're interested in any of the limited edition merch. But the season 0 merch will probably be discontinued soon. But yeah, we have a great episode for you today. We have Tiger King. We have an interview with Phil. You'll get to know him, and also some other great things. I'm trying to look here to see if there's anything else, AJ, you wanted me to review. Well, obviously we have our standard. Check us out on our social media over on the Facebooks and the Instagrams and all that good stuff. We are now broadcasting, working with Anchor to broadcast our podcast. But we're on all of the other podcast mediums now. Anchor actually is, I'm pretty impressed. And this is not a commercial for Anchor, but I'm pretty impressed that how quick they got us up and running. We're also Spotify. You could check us out on Google and all that fun stuff. And remember, if you listen to our episodes, to like and subscribe. We really do appreciate that. And we're on YouTube. AJ has set us up on Discord. Don't know much about Discord, but I know AJ said it's popular. So check us out on Discord and Twitter. We're everywhere under the Too Clever Mafia tag. It's TOO Clever Mafia. And if you'd like to support our show, you can check us out on Patreon as well under Too Clever Mafia. And also on YouTube, we're going to be we were talking about the recordings a little bit earlier. On YouTube, we're going to be doing some kind of hybrid. We plan on doing some sort of hybrid between the podcast and the old YouTube video channel, which was very successful. So now we're going to kind of maybe do behind the scenes while I'm recording the podcast, posting some YouTube content, kind of figure out how that all works. We're still kind of getting the equipment all up and running, especially with some of the technical difficulties we've had with some of the audio. We don't want to post audio that's subpar, so to speak. But anyway, we want you to enjoy it in your listening pleasure. So also we were posting some of the things that we use up on the on a YouTube channel for some of the videos and some of the equipment that we use. But quite honestly, AJ, I'm thinking now that we've been gone through so many of these equipments, I don't want to tell somebody to go get a microphone and then it stops working. So, we'd love to sponsor your product if you feel you have something that might work better than what we're using. But, we're always open to, you can comment, you can reach out to us, you can email us, give us some pointers, some ideas, some things that might have worked for you if you're doing a podcast or know somebody that does. But this is all new, a new segment. We just used to use a camera and shoot it. Very simple operation. Now it's a lot more high tech. So without further ado, we will go into our show, and we're going to be right back, and we're going to chat up the Tiger King. So you don't want to miss that. So hello everyone, welcome back to the Too Clever Mafia podcast. I am Mr. Clever Mafia, or Too Clever Mafia. So today, AJ, if you've heard this before, or if you haven't heard it before, there's this person named Joe Exotic. He's called the Tiger King. So spoiler alert, if you've seen this show, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, you may not want to hear it, because I'm going to be going into it, my view of it in my typical Too Clever Mafia fashion. Wow, just wow, this show is crazy. This is off the rails. And it was one thing after another. And I got to tell you, when I first tuned in, first episode, I said, what am I watching here? Mrs. Mafia wanted to watch it, and I said, I don't want to watch this show. Great, a zookeeper in Oklahoma. I've been to Oklahoma, very nice state, mind you. However, why do I want to watch some zookeeper? I mean, I've been to zoos, and I find them entertaining. I enjoy the different creatures, but how could this be? And then the character. So, Joe Exotic. I almost said Joe Dirt, and there's some similarities there, but Joe Exotic. Let me start from the beginning, okay? And I'm going to go in somewhat of an order, because this story, every time I say something, I'm thinking in my head, wait, he did this and he did that, and it's just crazy. But so he's an owner-operator of an Oklahoma zoo, okay? Breeding tigers, amongst other animals, I'm sure. But tigers seem to be his bread and butter. But it starts out, you find out that he pays his employees next to nothing. You occasionally notice the bullet hole tattoos he's got as he runs around with his shirt open. A very Nick Cage kind of way to go about things. And quite honestly, there may be a movie in the works, and Nick Cage may be Joe Exotic. I would pay to see that. Well, maybe I'd rent the movie on Redbox. I don't know if I'd pay to see that in a movie theater. Just a drive-in movie theater, AJ? No. Well, I think a lot of movie theaters should, if they have the space, go to drive-in style movie theaters, especially what's going on in the world today. But I don't know. Maybe a Redbox. Maybe HBO. I'll wait till it hits HBO. We'll see. But anyway, so the bullet hole tattoos. He walks around the zoo with his very Tom Selleck Miami Vice. I mean, very Tom Selleck. Why do I want to say Hawaii 5-0-ish? But I'm thinking my Magnum PI. Tom Selleck Magnum PI with his shirt open. Does he wear shorts? He might have had shorts on. Anyway, my mind is frozen after watching this. Mrs. Mafia made me watch this show, and I sat down, I watched the first episode, and I said, I don't like it. Second episode came around, and, well, let's see what happens next. And then we binge-watched the whole series. Pretty crazy. But so he walks around the zoo with a gun in his gun belt, a revolver in his gun belt, a holster, like it's the Wild West in Oklahoma. And, one point, he even actually, he's doing a music video, which I found out later that I believe it was voiceover, but I'm like, this gentleman is talented. He's a singer. He's singing on cars and stuff like that. But so what it really turns into, though, is there's this woman, and I don't want to say the woman's name because it's been said so many times in so many places, it's almost becoming commonplace. But Carol Baskin, okay, yes, Too Clever Mafia has said Carol Baskin. So Carol Baskin is his mortal enemy. Apparently she does the same thing as Joe, on the other side of the world, kind of like a bizarro world. Those of you who watch Seinfeld might know what I'm referencing, but kind of an opposite universe, if you will. But Carol is supposedly this One, well, I don't know Carol, I don't know Joe, but she's portrayed as this animal rights activist who really tries to save these tigers and these endangered creatures, and but hates Joe because Joe is supposedly selling and buying these tigers all over the place and from all these different characters throughout the land, and crazy stuff. But Carol, what adds, everywhere I look, there's a twist and a turn for this show. Carol, and I'm going to say this quietly, allegedly killed her husband. Yes, that is true. That's what they believe. Now, even the law enforcement officers investigating around it, but apparently she killed her husband. Joe outs her on every special media that he could find, social. He was doing live streaming, video podcasts and such, but he blames that he killed her. I mean, if you've seen the show, you know what I'm talking about. But at first, I thought Joe just wanted to be an internet superstar. Wanted to be another Too Clever Mafia, right? But he wanted to. But then it escalates, and then Joe Exotic, which isn't his real name by birth, I don't believe, but Joe Exotic wanted to dive into politics. So he tries to runs for governor. But and has parades, and it's crazy. And then I guess Carol Baskin sues Joe, and Joe, this is all supposed to be a true story, right? It's on Netflix, but it's supposed to be a true story. But he gets sued. Lawyers cost a lot of money. Joe gets sued and needs money to help get the zoo running for one reason or another. And then this other character comes along and says, hey, we'll give you money. I want to be partners in your zoo. And does all of this stuff and gives Joe the money. And Joe goes back at Carol and publicly says all of these slanders her, and but almost to a point where he's too crazy, and you're like, well, okay, he's doing this, but is it for real? Because he's doing it almost as a show, because he's doing it so much. People are like, well, hey, he can't be telling. This has got to be an act. There's no way. No one in their right mind would threaten to hurt another individual or, blow up mannequins that look like that individual. Why would you do that? And do it publicly? And then, it's kind of almost like a perfect alibi, if you think about it. But anyway, so it goes on. And this person that he gives them the money ends up just taking. He's a businessman. He ends up just taking. And they all have inner workings and different stories, and there's multiple wives involved. It's crazy, and wow, it really is crazy stuff. This Tiger King, but so someone on this show, one of Joe Exotic's, I believe he might have been, I don't want to say boyfriend of Joe Exotic, but he's definitely a significant other. And he, it's very sad, but he puts a gun to his head, and finishes himself on television. And that was very sad and very surprising. But that's traumatic, and it really pushed Joe over the edge, and very, very sad. And then so it's like up and down the show, and then there's all these different curves that you go around, and then he does this in front of Joe's campaign manager while that he was running for governor, a campaign manager who had no experience. And why would you run for governor? And I don't know. It's just stories that came out. I'm like, well, what? You couldn't make this stuff up, folks. You cannot make this stuff up. This stuff just doesn't happen. And then you have other issues where Joe basically gets set up in a plot to kill Carol. So he gets set up to kill Carol Baskin. So, well, it looks that way. It looks as he was set up. But he hires a hitman who was a friend who didn't like him. But it was somebody who was in the park who was with I believe he was friends with the person that gave him the money that was stealing his park. It's like, what is going on here? And then, make a long story short, he's in jail now. I think he got 20 plus years because he got caught in a murder for hire plot. Like I was saying, Nick Cage is probably going to play him in the movie. It's going to be crazy. It'll be like that Leaving Las Vegas movie that he did, and he's going to have the open shirt with the chains and the craziness, and I think Nick Cage will probably play a better Joe Exotic than Joe Exotic. So we'll see how that runs out. And yeah, AJ, some of that stuff was crazy, and I really summarized it up, but I don't want to spoil too much of it. It's worth a watch. If you have nothing else to do, it's definitely worth the watch. And we will, wow, just thinking about it, I'm still confused. I'm confused about how one thing led to another in this place. And I'm sure I missed out a lot because there's a lot of characters, but people that had teeth or don't have teeth, but have teeth now. So if you get a chance, catch it out on Netflix. I'm not advertising Netflix. I like Netflix, but this isn't a paid advertisement for them. But if you have a chance, check it out on Netflix and enjoy it. Enjoy it. If you can, watch the whole thing. Get past the first couple of episodes and you'll be fine. You'll be fine. We'll be right back. This is Too Clever Mafia here again. So, our first guest ever on our podcast is here today. I believe we're going to call him Phil for namesake. I don't think he wants to give his last name just yet. But hello, Phil. Why don't you say hi to everyone?
Hi, guys. I'm Phil.
Okay, yeah, Phil. Phil, just to give you a little backstory on Phil, once in a while, Phil and I catch up and shoot the breeze in the local coffee shop. Usually in the evenings after dinner, if I have nothing to do, I'll head down to the local coffee shop and get a cup of Joe. And Phil will be there, and we'll chat about certain things. So, Phil, welcome, our very first guest on our podcast.
I'm glad. I'm glad to be a first guest.
Okay, well, I'm happy to have you, Phil. So what do you have, Phil? What's new? What's going on with you?
Thank you for having me. First off, this is a blessing to be on this show. I never thought I'd make it this big, as to be on the Too Clever Mafia show. That's a real big thing for me.
I sense a little bit of sarcasm there, Phil.
Maybe there was some. I'm not. I'm not. That's not me. But so I was at this local fishing spot I normally go to.
Oh, yes, okay.
And my there was this dude fishing with me. He was catching fish that looked a little small, but I mean, it's not for me to judge. I don't know the law, even though I'm supposed to. I mean, can't say that. But so I was at the fishing spot, and then this fishing cop guy came up and was like, "Sir, that fish looks a little small. Are you measuring it? Do you know the law on that?"
The wildlife folk.
Yeah, the wildlife folk.
With the guns.
Yes, okay. with lots of guns.
Oh boy, okay.
So then he said, I think it's a good size, sir. I don't want to, I'll put it back if you tell me to, but the fish at this point was already long dead. He died.
Okay.
Yeah. He was like checking the guy. Turned out the guy was drunk. I don't know how that happened. That came in there too somewhere.
You didn't see any alcohol.
I didn't see no alcohol.
You, of course, weren't drinking yourself, Phil. Okay, move on.
But so, he was, the cop was like, well, this, we can't be having this, and, he took him away in jail for his fish being 1 inch too small. And then I looked at my fish, and I was catching babies, I think, because his fish were decently sized, but my fish were like a good half of the size they should be in order for it to be legal.
Phil, your fish was smaller than the other gentleman who was taken away.
Yes, I managed to hide my fish.
Oh, you hid them.
Yeah, I hid the fish in the cooler. And the cop came up to me, but I ran. And apparently he didn't chase me.
But let me ask you something here, Phil. You're a little younger than me. How did you escape from the fish and wildlife people, aren't they?
Well, I jumped in the water, which may not have been a good idea.
Oh, boy, Phil.
Because there's a lot of things in that water that you don't want up against your skin.
Apparently they're kind of fish, because you already said you're not catching them.
Oh, yeah.
I've never really gotten into fishing. I mean, I've gone a few times, but... Oh, wow. Okay.
This has gone off the rails a little bit here, Phil. I wasn't expecting this one.
Maybe we should get back to it.
Okay, Phil. Well, all right. Well, let me. What I was really bringing you in, some of the stuff we discussed in this fish story. Wow. I'm just gonna say wow. Person that was taken away to jail is not in too much trouble, but
oh no, he was. I think he's being locked away for a long time. Anyway, get back to it.
Oh, okay. I will. And Phil, I do again appreciate you coming in. I wonder if you could tell me a little bit more, Phil, about what you did for a living.
Oh yeah, I did.
Okay. Is there anything you got? I mean, you've told me some things off the mic, but what can you share with us that won't get you in too much trouble that you had your career? I mean, you're retired now, and obviously you like to fish and all that. But what can you share with us as your about your career?
I made mini sub, and that's all I can say.
Mini?
Yeah.
Like tiny?
Yeah, like half a person. Like you could,
like
you could squeeze somebody in there, and maybe they'll fit. Maybe they won't.
Well, oh, okay. There was an old movie with Martin Short. I forget the name of it. I believe it was Martin Short, and where they miniaturized him, and he went into a human. It was
like the Magic School Bus.
Who?
Never mind.
When is that from?
I don't know.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway. So we're uncovering a lot of fun things today. So you're submarines.
Yeah, that's.
Are you talking about like a sandwich, like a turkey and cheese?
I can't tell you that. That's classified right there. That's.
Is this a material with sub? Okay, you were in the Navy though.
No, I was not.
Oh, okay. Well,
I worked for the.
Well, I don't want to get us kicked off the air if you're working for.
Oh, I did.
Okay. Well. So, this has been Phil. Phil, I thank you for coming. You've enlightened us something along the lines of fish and mini. Yeah. Okay.
That's my specialties right there.
Wait! I'm getting a message from AJ. Okay, understood.
Are they there? Are they here?
No, but AJ says I don't know if I can use any of this footage, but we'll try. We'll try.
I thought that they were at the studio right now.
No, I don't believe anybody, but there was a cat running around here earlier. So
if you see a helicopter, will you let me know?
I don't know. I don't know if I'm really involved in that.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Wow, another fine day so far, and wow, with the Tiger King and Phil, it's been an interesting day. I'll definitely go that far today, and don't want to get too overexcited. But so today. AJ has given me some new copy for some new advertisements. So we apparently have some new advertisers, and let's see here. So today's show is going to be brought to you by Sears and Roebuck. AJ, is this correct? Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'll read the copy. Apparently, Sears and Roebuck was our sponsor and is no longer our sponsor. Understandably. Matter of fact, AJ, whatever happened to Roebuck? Was he a, I don't see that on any of the stores that were still left up. Do they even have any more stores these days? I don't even know. No, you're not sure. Once again, a crack job of research there, AJ. But anyway, so I guess Roebuck is, off the buildings. Sears, probably, I don't know where he went. I'm not really sure who Roebuck was, but anyway, do you know back, AJ, kind of brought up a little bit of a memory here, might go into a little bit of a story, but I remember Sears used to have a catalog, and you could order a house, parts for a house, and you could build it. this is way back when, even before my time, but they were big with the catalog before the internet and the online buying and eBay and Amazon and all those fun places where I don't know if you can get a house on Amazon. It's quite possible. You could buy anything. You could buy horse-drawn buggies, all kinds of things in the Sears catalog. And I remember even in the early 1970s and 80s, you could they had a catalog and it would ship to your house and you'd pick it up and it'd be this huge book, hundreds of pages, and you could order anything you wanted. And they were the go-to. They definitely were the go-to. But just like anything else, I guess they weren't able to switch over to the internets and like the rest of us migrating to this technology and making our money that way instead. Not that we make any money, because if this is one of our sponsors, I don't think they'll be writing us a check anytime soon. So if anybody out there wants to help us out and support us, feel free to go over our Patreon page, Too Clever Mafia. We definitely don't think we'll be getting anything from Sears, but I guess AJ didn't really go through the research. There's also a couple other ways. If you go over to Teespring, we got some great gifts, mugs, t-shirts, sweatpants, sweaters, socks, all kinds of fun stuff. Tote bags, if you're interested, over at Teespring, and Too Clever Mafia over on there as well. Obviously you can listen to all our podcasts at any time on Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, Google Pop. Like and subscribe. I know AJ is every time I miss that, but yeah, it helps us out, I guess, if you like and subscribe, and you'll also be notified of a lot of our new content as soon as it comes out. I had some questions actually about some of the products that we use to broadcast here and in our new upgraded studio, and if you check us out, I think it's on YouTube, and some of our links, you can check it out. Head over to YouTube, by the way. You can see some of our behind it. Is that cat again, AJ? I haven't heard it. Oh boy, we should just adopt that cat. That could be a cat for our mascot, right? Anyway, so just wanted to kind of go over some of that stuff, and kind of went off the rails a little bit as usual here on Too Clever. We're kind of get used to doing that kind of stuff. But, hey, going back to Sears for a moment, I remember getting my Levi's pants from them. Not the button fly, not those fancy ones that they all wear. I don't know if they still wear them, but that's where I used to get my Levi's. And when they went out of business, they closed down in my local town quite some time ago, but I don't think I've purchased a pair of Levi's since then, come to think of it. I don't think I have. I don't think I have. Levi Strauss. Another one. You talk Levi's, but you say Strauss. And who is Strauss? Does he hang out with Roebuck? I don't know. Maybe they both went somewhere else and created their own Strauss and Roebuck Foundation. I don't know. We're going crazy here. But definitely check out our Patreon account. We a lot of our supporters come over there from YouTube, and I know we have had some questions, some emails about the supporters that we had from our YouTube videos a few years back, wanting to know where they can help support us. We're going to be doing some live streaming. We're going to be doing some live shows with some live listeners. We're going to be setting up the soundboard, AJ tells me, soon, and we're going to be able to take some incoming calls. But in the meantime, we're going to hopefully Phil won't have to be back in here again. I guess I'll talk to you right after the break. Hello everyone, this is Too Clever Mafia once again, and what a great day today, right? We had some crazy times with Phil and my little story about the Tiger King. Hopefully I didn't spoil it for anyone, but we definitely have a lot more craziness than what we wanted in one episode, so might have to spread it out next time, right, AJ? Yeah. So, hey, by the way, AJ, I just wanted to mention, I noticed in the last segment you you kind of hit the music when I was talking. Is that to kind of shut me up? Am I rambling too much? No? You know? Because I really feel like I should say, hey, I'm done talking, start the music. No? You don't think so? Well, anyway, I definitely enjoyed our show today, and we have a lot more to come, and we will be, once we work out all our technical difficulties. I know I'm getting a lot of receipts from AJ about all of the equipment he seems to be purchasing for our new studio, and once we're allowed to, AJ's over in the sound booth now, and I'm over here in the recording part of the studio. So once we are allowed to have guests in the studio, we will definitely be inviting some. We're working on setting up some, I believe, was it Skype? No? Oh no, AJ does not like Skype. He does not like Skype. There's the other one too, Zoom. We could do Zoom, or we could just have them call in. Yeah, if we get some good guests, like, maybe we'll get Michael Keaton. Can we get Michael Keaton on this show? No, Mike. How about Will Ferrell? I like Will Ferrell. He's a funny man. Funny. You know what I liked him in? I liked him in the movie Ron Burgundy. Yeah. Oh yeah, great character. Saturday Night Live. Oh. Yeah, I haven't, no. Yeah. I don't think we'll get Will Ferrell, AJ's telling me. So, either way, hope you had a great time today, and we look forward to having you all, check out our website over at tooclevermafia.com. You can check us out there and see all the great stuff. Join us on our social medias, as always, Too Clever Mafia, at Too Clever Mafia, yes, AJ. And we will hopefully hear from you, or drop us an email too, at tooclevermafia@gmail.com. If you anything you'd like us to speak about or review or anything, we're always open to new ideas, and we will be talking to you next week, hopefully, if AJ can get all of us up and running again next week. But that's all I have to say about that, Mafians. Talk to you soon.